beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. How are we, good people? It's me again, bloviating, windbag, talks to jackanapes and ne'er-do-wells. Okay, so, tea in hand. We're going to keep it short and sweet this morning. I found something interesting from a marvellous tweet from 2024. It would have been X then, wouldn't it? But 2024. From Women Are Real, at Women Are Reals. Women Are Real, which came across my timeline, and I thought this is terribly interesting and something that some of you may want to investigate further. It comes from the good old US of A. Oh, say, can you see? Etc. Right? California in particular. Oh, California, I'm coming home. Oh, Joni. Right? Now, this is interesting because you see, California, all that sort of area there is where all the tech stuff originated. It's where many of our problems are coming from, and it's mostly caused by people who are stoned constantly. Right? They're typing code with a reefer, stoned, right? If you look at my article about the trans district, it's an absolute hellhole. Anyway, so that's all by the by, because what I think we have here is a tale of along came a spider. Now, you will all know, as well as I do, that Judith Butler, various shenanigans with the academics in California, going back, way back through the 80s and 90s, was a major part of the problems we're having with gender identity and all this child mutilating surgeries and everything else that's going on right now. So it's interesting. I haven't looked, but I'm interested to know whether this person has got any tie, any interest, any academic work to do with the likes of Money, Kinsey, Hirschfeld, all those men that advocated for all this nonsense, particularly Hirschfeld, who was experimenting on people long before the Nazis came along and stopped him. I believe, did he go and work in the Nazi camps? I can't remember. I'd have to check. Malcolm Clark would know. So anyway, let's have a look at this because it's interesting. This is 1998, and the Women Are Real says, before the invention of social media and smartphones, before anyone imagined that boys would steal girls' state championships, or that parents would be the last to know their daughter was undressing in the boys' locker room, it all began for California students in an unlikely place. A seemingly minor change in the state penal codes dealing with hate crimes. At the time, CA law, California law, did not consistently include sex as a protected class in hate crime laws. In fact, the hate crime laws only mentioned sex once, and it was in reference to hate crime training for police officers. Now, I'm very interested in this because this rung a bell in my mind of a film called Elephant by Gus Van Sant. Not a pleasant film. It's about a school shooting. It's rather a difficult film, but the way that it's made is genius. You follow each individual person. Their story is told. It's all very bleak and straightforward, no messing. But if I remember rightly, there's a scene in it where I'm sure there's a scene in it where some lad, some college lad or school lad, is showering naked in front of an awful lot of people. It's as if all boundaries are breaking down. It's very... I'm sure that's right, so I shall have to check it. But I remember thinking at the time, well, there aren't strong barriers there because they were actually showering in plain view of all the other students. So it struck me as there's something here going on about this kind of liberal way of seeing, which I think is what this is about. In 1988, State Assembly member Sheila Kuehl introduces AB 1999, which is a law which changes California hate crime laws to add gender as a protected class. Isn't that interesting? The bill doesn't use the word sex unless it's in the phrases sex at birth or perceived sex. The bill also removes the one and only mention of sex in the existing hate crime law and replaces it with gender. The law defines gender as follows. Gender means a person's actual or perceived sex and includes a person's identity, appearance, or behaviour, whether or not that identity, appearance, or behaviour is different from the traditionally associated with the person's sex at birth. Does this sound like Australia and tickle versus giggle to you? Does it? Sounds like it to me. Notice how this definition of gender feels antiquated because it includes concepts like appearance and behaviour. Hate crime laws deal with crimes that the victim experiences due to the perpetrator's perception of the victim. So at this point, it is not purely about self-identification or internal sense of self. Kuehl uses a now familiar argument in the upside-down world of gender to advocate for a bill. She argues that existing law already accomplishes what the new laws aim to achieve, yet the new legislation is somehow still necessary. She is quoted in the record as saying, while hate crimes based upon actual perceived gender and actual perceived sexual orientation are included in California's hate crime statutes, and hate crimes against transgender persons can be legally prosecuted under these statutes, only a few district attorneys' offices, such as those in Los Angeles and San Francisco, are actually pursuing these charges. The bill provides further clarification for prosecutors. In other words, Sheila Kuehl was saying we need to make hate against, transgender gusset fumblers, whatever you want to call them, LARPing women, needs to be prosecuted further. This is carceral state stuff, right? So what's Sheila Kuehl been up to recently? Well, here she is, walking out her front door after LA County sheriffs served her with a search warrant in connection with a corruption investigation in September 2022. This thread goes on. It goes on for quite some time, and it's a thank you to Women Are Real, because it's an excellent thread and one that I do strongly suggest that you engage with, because I think this is a spider. I think we found one. They're out their cave. I was unaware of this before. We were aware, of course, of Money, of Kinsey, of Hirschfield. We were aware of philosophically Foucault. We were aware of Judith Butler. All the crap that comes with it, you can throw in Marx and bloody Hegel into all that, and it gets philosophically complicated. But the reality of this is, here is someone who was fundamental long before Tumblr, all the stuff that comes with it, smartphones and everything else, in corrupting the law with the social constructivist view about gender identity. And I think that's worth a bit more exploration on your part. So I shall leave it to you. Okay? I thought it was terribly interesting. I hope you do too. I'll see you later. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.